Are you needy, thirsty, desperate? Maybe you aren't, but you're coming off that way. When it comes to your initial approach and really pursuing a girl in the long term, this can be an absolute shot in the head of your game. Now remember, guys are not the only ones who like the chase. Sometimes the girls want to chase you, and it's important to give her the gift of the chase. That means cutting your interactions with her down to the bone at times. Not ghosting or whatever the meme of the week is. We, after all, are adults and you should be able to express yourself. But that does mean having to be a little aloof sometimes and letting her come to you. Well, I mean, what if she doesn't want to come to me? Bullshit test her and let her go. If she never comes back to you, well, it'll tell you all you need to know. So here's the question also, are you actually clingy? It's a big question whether you actually are being clingy or whether she's just the type of girl who prefers a distant man, or whether she's just an introvert and you're an extrovert, meaning you have different styles of social communication. You'll know if you're being clingy if, when you're texting, you're doing it to specifically find out if she's going to text you back. Essentially, you're texting for the reassurance that she still likes you. I don't mean like explicitly, do you still like me? If you're asking that, she doesn't. I mean the texting, hey, how are you? Because you're anxious that maybe she doesn't want to speak with you anymore, and you want to know whether or not she's going to reply in order to gain a reassurance she's still there. That's what clingy means. That's what thirsty is. Thirsty people give people a lot of attention specifically because they're afraid that the relationship will end if any space comes between them. If you're just chatting away and having fun and you think that everything's fine, then she's like, thirsty, then you're not thirsty. You're just more extroverted than she is. Say you're talking to a girl who has suddenly stopped responding to you after talking constantly for a couple of weeks. She vanishes. It's actually happened to a client of mine over this past Mother's Day weekend. He texted me and said that, we had this great connection with this girl, and 3 weeks in, that they'd been on like 4 dates, and they made out a couple of times and even had sex. And suddenly, she wasn't texting him for days. And he asked me, well, what should he do? Was he being thirsty or clingy? I told him, I said, the non-clingy thing to do here in this situation, given how quick the situation had progressed, would be to directly ask her, is there something up? Don't be afraid to ask questions. But this isn't thirsty or clingy, not at all. It's a grown man question, and we are men of action. Child games don't become us. This is all about how you ask what you ask. Clingy at this stage, or thirsty, would be, instead of asking, you increase the volume and frequency of your text messages to keep getting the reassurance that she's still around. So Tuesday of the following week, she reached out to him and told him that she was sorry and that she hadn't reached out on Mother's Day weekend because things have been very busy, and that she doesn't believe in ghosting people because she's an adult. And she said while she really likes him and enjoys being intimate with him, that they weren't looking for the same things. Consider this. Each time you get an urge to talk in order to keep a woman interested in you, remind yourself that people's interests shouldn't need to be stoked. You're not a monkey that needs to dance or sing for a supper. You're already lovable. You're already cool. You're already wanted. You don't need to do anything to earn anyone's love or keep them around. It comes back to your self-esteem and your confidence that someone would want to be around you and be with you. What might you do to feel more lovable? This will be an individual thing to you to think about. But also don't over-focus on your own behavior. If your self-esteem is already a little lower, that's going to encourage you to focus on yourself to ensure that you're doing things right. But this over-focusing on yourself is going to stop you from the most important consideration you have, which is this girl right for me? And right there in the moment when you lock eyes with her, think it through and be clear to yourself to make sure that she measures up. Be clear and direct with what you want, so you don't have to worry about being embarrassed about it. Your happiness is important. You have needs of your own, and it's never unreasonable to think about yourself or to think that the girl you're interested in should be interested in you back. This is not needy behavior. This is not thirsty behavior. This is just knowing what you want. I want you to balance your needs with hers. This is the basis for any good relationship. It's communication from the start. You both have needs and wants and desires that you want met. Sometimes hers are going to get met first. Sometimes yours are going to get met first. Sometimes you're going to reach a compromise. But the important thing here is that over time you feel that the relationship is balanced. And if it isn't balanced, talk about it. If they don't give a shit, don't stick around. Everything comes down to your confidence and being kind to yourself and others. When it comes to the clingy, thirsty, neediness situation, you've got to have confidence in yourself that you're lovable. Men's definition of clingy is different from a woman's. 9 times out of 10, if a woman's saying you're too thirsty or clingy, chances are she's probably bored or just not interested. This is something that tends to happen within the first week or two with you getting to know someone. The classic response is to simply ignore the person until they go away or confront you in the situation. The secret to not having this happen is for you to just do your own thing, actually. Prioritize you. If you want to talk and see what she's up to, invite her out instead of hanging out through text messages. There's just too many things that can get her attention and can be annoying at the same time when you're constantly messaging someone all throughout the day. If she's unwilling to go out, well, that's telling you something. And if you ask me, it starts with not beating yourself up about this idea of being thirsty or worrying about whether people still like you. Understand that if you are being clingy, this is you experiencing anxiety, and that isn't good for you. Make any changes you need to make to you so that you're comfortable and so that you are making sure that your needs are met. Because if you're not making sure about it, no one else is. We'll see you next time. Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for watching this episode. If you have any comments or concerns, down toward the bottom, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.